Josh Thomson has weighed in on the now official heavyweight title fight between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, and he's not convinced that Gane's wrestling has improved at all. In his words, you just can't teach a grown man how to wrestle. He says once your body has developed a certain way, it's hard to retrain those movements, and Cyryl's past performances have only reinforced that. Josh pointed out Gane's struggles against Francis Ngannou, where he was shockingly out-wrestled, and the Jon Jones fight, which exposed him even further. Not to mention Volkov, who's not exactly known as a takedown machine, managed to take him down multiple times as well. Despite all that, this is still an intriguing fight. On the feet, it's close. Gane is the more technical and snappy striker, but Tom hits harder, and the grappling edge is clearly on Aspinall's side. The real X factor here? Conditioning. We've never seen Aspinall in deep waters. Gane, on the other hand, has gone the distance and never really showed signs of fatigue. That's a question Aspinall still needs to answer, so while the skill matchup leans toward Tom, especially with the wrestling, there's still plenty of intrigue, and this fight could end up being a lot more competitive than some people think.
You know, I've heard fighters say that for years. They said, yeah, I've been working on my takedown defense, my cage takedown defense, my ability to get back up, and they go out there and they look the same. They look exactly the same. This whole notion like you can't teach a grown man how to wrestle, there's a little truth to that, because the body doesn't move like it should, you know, for a top level wrestler to learn. And so I think for Ciryl Gane, he's gonna have a tough task in front of him on stopping the takedowns. Now, what I do know is that, like, when it comes down to like the explosiveness of like who's gonna be more explosive, it's gonna be very close. Tom is very explosive for his size and his body frame. Ciryl Gane is very light on his feet and very athletic, good mobility, but he's not explosive. Like he's quick, you know, he's got some snap on his punches and his kicks. But will that be enough to stop Tom Aspinall? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I know once the fight hits the ground, there's just different levels. And I think that Tom Aspinall is the better fighter on the ground.
Alex Pereira's move to heavyweight is starting to feel inevitable, especially if Tom Aspinall gets past Ciryl Gane at UFC 321. On a recent episode of Submission Radio, MMA reporter Jose Youngs joined the show to break it all down. With Pereira now officially set to rematch Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 320 for the light heavyweight title, the conversation is heating up. According to both pundits, Pereira's jump to heavyweight is undeniable at this point. If Aspinall beats Gane, there's really no one left for him at heavyweight. He's already run through most of the division. That makes Pereira versus Aspinall the fight to make. And the wild part is, even if Pereira falls short against Ankalaev, that heavyweight move still makes sense. His star power, striking pedigree, and championship legacy would instantly shake up the division. Aspinall himself has said if they ever fought, he'd rugby tackle Pereira and wrestle him non-stop. He respects Pereira's striking and knows the clear path is to take him down and smother him. It's the classic striker versus grappler storyline, and if this fight happens, it could be massive.
In this hypothetical world, let's say Tom in this world beats Ciryl, because anything can happen in heavyweight. Who's left for Tom to fight? He's already beat Volkov. He's already beat, like, if Jailton beats Volkov, that's the fight. But if Volkov beats Jailton, Tom's not going to say no. But do you think they want to put Volkov in a heavyweight fight or Alex Pereira in a heavyweight fight? I feel like the UFC is going to want to make money and stick Alex Pereira in a heavyweight fight. Because if Alex somehow beats Tom Aspinall, there's your Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones in the UFC White House. There you go. Jon gets both of his wishes. He gets to fight for a belt, he gets to fight Alex, and he gets to fight in the White House. And I say this not knowing anything, because obviously anything can happen, but the UFC is going to be one of those things where no matter what division he's in, they're going to try and slot him into a title shot because he's a popular star.
Dude, I'll tell you what, having Alex Pereira in the heavyweight division for the UFC, not a bad little way to get Jon Jones and back into rotation. You could set up like a Gane fight with Alex Pereira even if he loses.
Khamzat Chimaev's teammate, UFC middleweight Ciryl Gane, just went off on Ilia Topuria, dropping a bombshell about a face-to-face encounter and even challenging him to a street fight. Ciryl, a rising Dagestani fighter with close ties to both Team Khabib and Chechen powerhouse Khamzat Chimaev, is no stranger to wild moments. He and Khamzat even have an infamous street brawl story from months ago, but in a recent interview with Russian outlet Usha Taika, things took an unexpected turn when Ciryl was asked about El Matador. According to Shara, they crossed paths at UFC 308 when Ilia was already champion, but despite that, Shara says Topuria is so irrelevant he didn't even bother to look at him, didn't even acknowledge he existed. He completely snapped on Ilia, saying that if it ever came to a street fight, he, Team Khabib, and the whole Dagestani crew would destroy El Matador without hesitation. What makes this whole thing even more bizarre is the fact that Khamzat and Ilia actually have a really solid relationship. They've shown mutual respect publicly, even exchanged messages after recent fights. So to see Shara, Khamzat's teammate, throwing this kind of heat toward Ilia is raising eyebrows. Let's dive into the interview. Quote, Topuria, that guy never shuts up, always running his mouth about Umar, Islam, all the Dagestani fighters, talking like he wants a street fight. He has no idea what he's asking for. Khabib's crew would rip him to pieces in the street and eat him alive. He's way too small to survive that. I saw him face to face at UFC 308. When we crossed paths, I didn't even look at him. Didn't give him a second of attention. He's nothing. A complete nobody. His fighting style is cool, I'll give him that. But at the same time, I've been doing the same stuff he does since I was 14. Starting combinations from the body and going up top. I could easily adapt that style right now if I wanted to, with ease. End quote. Israel Adesanya is going all in on Jack Della Maddalena, predicting a knockout win over Islam Makhachev in their upcoming welterweight title showdown. Now sure, with Izzy based in New Zealand and Jack repping Australia, you'd expect Izzy to support his guy, but to go as far as calling a KO over Islam Makhachev, that's bold. Especially when we're talking about one of the most dominant fighters in recent memory. Still, the hype around this fight is real. After vacating the lightweight belt, Makhachev officially moved up, and now the UFC is targeting a welterweight title clash with Della Maddalena near the end of the year. Dana White recently teased that news on Makhachev is coming soon, and this fight could headline one of the biggest cards of 2025. Adesanya shared his take during a conversation with Alexander Volkanovski on his YouTube channel. He said Della Maddalena's coach Ben Vickers predicted the KO, and Izzy believes him. According to Izzy, Islam won't be able to keep Jack down, and once the Aussie finds his rhythm, it's lights out. He called Jack stoic and laser focused on his game, which is exactly why he thinks the upset is coming. Interestingly, even Khabib Nurmagomedov recently said Jack Maddalena will be the toughest fight of Makhachev's career. Khabib even went as far as to say that JDM is a tougher matchup for Islam than Ilia Topuria, calling Jack a bigger and more versatile version of El Matador. So the question now is Jack Della Maddalena really the striker who can crack the Makhachev code? Or is this just another level for Islam to conquer? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Who you got, the sharp striker in Jack Della or the dominant force Islam Makhachev? Let us know. That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.